Welcome back to the Biblet Show. Our next guest is a young lady who was a maid in the home of Mary, the mother of John Mark. This young girl lived in her home in Jerusalem and is introduced to us in the time of Peter's escape from jail. Announcing the arrival of a very special guest to their home, no one believed her. Here to tell us her side of the story is none other than Rhoda herself. Hello, Rhoda. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us about how that day started?
Well, it was a very busy day. It started off with me cleaning the house, like I always did. Mary, John Mark's mother, came and found me early in the morning to tell me that we would be having a lot of people come in and out of our home that day. She asked me to keep a close eye on the door throughout the day. After cleaning the house, the guests arrived. Many people poured into the house to pray. Soon, the house was filled with people praying for our dear friend Peter, who had been captured and put into jail. He was placed under heavy guard, and all we knew was that he would be tried after the Passover. Like I said, there were a lot of people throughout the house praying for his safety, his health, and anything God could do to release him. It was getting quite late, but no one looked like they were leaving or be leaving anytime soon, so I kept close to the door. People had been coming in all day and that evening. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone showed up at a late hour.
And then what happened?
As I said, it was getting late. I must have dozed off for a moment while I was laying up against the door. The next thing I remember was I was being startled awake by a knocking at the door.
Oh, who was there?
I heard someone on the other side of the door. It took me no time at all to figure out who it was. I recognized the voice on the other side, and it belonged to Peter. He was at our house.
What did you do?
I ran to tell everyone who was throughout the house praying that Peter was here. I was so excited, I forgot to open the door for him. I knew our prayers had been answered. The man we had been praying for to be released was standing on our property. He was alive. He was here.
You forgot to let him in?
Yeah. I was so excited that I ran throughout the house. Peter's at the door! Peter's at the door! Peter is at the door!
Everyone must have been so excited.
Oddly enough, they didn't believe me. They had all been praying for him all day, and now they don't believe me when I tell him that he is here. And their prayers had been answered. They kept telling me I was out of my mind. I knew for sure that I wasn't. I kept telling everyone in the house that he was here, but they did not believe me. Like I would make up something like that. Some even tried to convince me that it was his angel.
So you're telling me that this miracle happened and no one believed you. What were you thinking at this point?
I was a little shocked that they didn't believe me, but I was persistent and kept telling them that he was really here.
What happened next?
I then heard knocking at the door again. Apparently the knocking hadn't stopped since it woke me up. Someone who was close to the door went and answered it to see who was here. Then they believed me. Peter was standing at our front door. I think everyone felt a little stupid for not believing me the first time I said that Peter was outside our front door.
How was everyone feeling at this point?
Everyone in the house became a little excited. The house erupted with people asking questions and talking. We were all so thrilled and surprised.
Wow, that is amazing. How did Peter respond to all of this?
Peter then motioned for everyone in the house to be quiet. He managed to silence everyone. He then told us all how the Lord had brought him out of prison and set him free. The last thing he told us was tell James and the brothers about this. And then he left for another place. We were all a little amazed at everything that had just taken place. Thankful that Peter was free, but saddened that he was not able to stay with us.
That is quite the story. Have you heard from Peter since, or do you know what happened to him?
The next day, there was a search for Peter throughout many places, but no one could find him. We then understood why Peter could not have stayed with us. And we found ourselves pretty lucky that we had the short time with us and had God answered our prayers in such a dramatic way.
If you could say one last thing to Peter, what would you say?
Sorry I didn't open the door for you the first time you knocked.
Thank you for coming, Rhoda, and sharing your side of the story with us.
Thank you for having me.
If you would like the full story, you can find it in the New Testament in Acts chapter 12 with the appearance of Rhoda in verses 13 to 17. She is such a sweet girl. Tomorrow on the show, we will have Mary, the mother of John Mark, to tell her side of the story. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.
Into jail. He was placed under heavy guard, and all we knew was that he would be tried after the Passover. Like I said, we were people.
You were people.
We were people.
Wow.
I know.
That's shocking.